Hey guys, it's Adam Levitan here at FantasyLabs. Here at the homepage, Peter's cut off forehead, all the good stuff. So it's a sad day because it's really the Monday after the NBA season for me, and I've been so like elbow deep in NBA for what seems like so long, playing every day and writing and podcasting and just being so involved in NBA and really sad to see it's over. But big thanks, first of all, to Justin and the whole NBA team at Fantasy Labs, who honestly were a huge difference maker. Not just because I trust them to follow the news so accurately, but also for the speed in which they're able to adjust the projections on the fly. And if you've ever tried to do that, it's really difficult. You know, somebody gets scratched at 6:45, and not only do you have to be on top of that news, but you also have to adjust how it affects everybody else. And in the NBA, it really does affect everybody else on the entire roster. So big thanks to all those guys. Great NBA season. Still have a little bit to go here, playing these 3 and 4 game playoff slates, but it's time to move on to baseball. And I am not a baseball guy. I don't follow baseball. I couldn't tell you a lot about who's on what team, who the best players are. I really don't follow baseball closely at all. But that does not mean that I can't compete in DFS MLB. And that's because it's not really a feel-based sport. It is not an opportunity-based sport. In fact, I would say that you can benefit by not watching any baseball games. Like, I think you're really doing yourself a disservice if you never watch any NBA games and if you never watch any NFL games. It's hard to be really good without watching. In baseball, I think it's actually a detriment to watch the games. There's really not that much you can see by watching the games rather than looking at data. And of course, at Fantasy Labs, we're all about the data. So the first thing for me with baseball is opportunity based sport goes out the window. You know, in NFL, how many carries a guy gets means everything. In basketball, projecting somebody's minutes is the most important thing that you can possibly do on a day-to-day basis. But in baseball, everybody gets the same opportunity pretty much. Yeah, the guys at the top of the order might bat 4 or 5 times, whereas the guys at the bottom bat 3 or 4. But for the most part, everybody gets the exact same opportunity. So it's really not about projecting how much feel you need. It's just about the data and which data is important on a given day and knowing where to use the data. And the other big difference is the lineups are out so early and there's no late scratches. So like 4 hours before a game, we'll know somebody's lineup. Of course, you can always go to MLB lineups and you'll see confirmed here means it's confirmed, obviously, and these are below are all the projected lineups, unconfirmed, but all the projected lineups. And the guys on the baseball team at Labs are working hard to make those projected lineups as accurate as possible. It's not easy, but doing their best. But yeah, there's no like late scratches. Very rarely will like we have something confirmed, Edwin Encarnacion batting fourth, and then all of a sudden the game starts and Encarnacion isn't playing or he's batting second. Like, that just doesn't happen. So much less stress than the NBA or even the NFL from that perspective. All right, so today I'm just going to talk about what I can do as somebody who doesn't follow baseball, who doesn't follow the players. I'm going to get into baseball and we'll have more detailed videos about that going forward. But for now, I'm going to show you how I've kind of been attacking it earlier in the season. And first of all, I'm only playing GPPs. You know, I think cash games, I almost exclusively played cash games for NBA, and I think that's for people that are really into it and really on top of everything. I don't feel comfortable playing cash. Right now, I've been playing MLB, so obviously stacking is the most powerful tool, or one of the most powerful tools we can use in baseball. Guy gets on base, guy steals a base, you have the guy behind him. He comes in, he hits a single, and not only do you get the points for that single, you also get an RBI, you also get the run scored, and if you have both of those players, it's like you're getting double points. So obviously, really powerful tool is correlation. Now you can say everybody's stacking these days, so maybe our optimal play is not to stack, and maybe there's some merit to that. But for now, as someone who's kind of playing not at a super advanced level, I'm going to stick to stacking. So let's go to today's player model. I am in the DraftKings tournament model, and I am going to build my own model going forward. For now, I've been using the tournament model, one that I think has the most upside. But yeah, eventually I think everybody should be building their own model, playing with these sliders in order to figure out which ones work for you, and testing all these sliders. And I'm going to have some videos about that, how to test sliders and see what works for you. But for now, I'm using the tournament model. So I'm going to go DraftKings. And what I've been doing is locking in the highest rated pitcher for my stack. And so it's Syndergaard tonight. I just think that locking one pitcher and building around him with one stack is a way to kind of develop a core. And if a guy is the highest rated in the Labs tournament model, I have a lot of faith in him that he's a really strong play. So obviously Syndergaard is expensive, but we are going to use two pitchers tonight. So maybe we'll be able to save on another pitcher. We'll see what happens. And then for my stack, I will go to batters. I will go to players, and then I'll click on the team. And what I'm looking for here is line moves against consensus. So I, as someone that doesn't know a lot about baseball, I'm relying on what I think are sharp people who move lines. And only the sharpest people move lines. People betting the most money in Vegas move the lines. So here, as you can see, let me do this again so you can see how to get to it. Click on a player's name. I clicked on Matt Carpenter. I click on his team. It brings up this Vegas page and the weather page. Obviously, weather is something we need to track closely in baseball at all times. But for now, I'm just looking at this Vegas page here. So the first thing I look at is spread percentage. What percent of the bets are coming in on each team? So right now, 69% of the bets are coming in on the Cubs. So if that was sharp money, if that was people who know what they're doing, the Cubs money line would start to move up, 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 up. However, as we can see by these team totals here, the Cubs opened with a 4.2 team projection, and now they're down to 3.9, even though 69% of bettors are betting on the Chicago Cubs. So that tells me that's just sharp money coming in on St. Louis. Yeah, there's not as many number of bets on St. Louis, but there's more money on St. Louis. So typically sharper people bet more in dollar amounts. So now St. Louis's team total has gone from 3.9 up to 4.1. So now St. Louis is actually projected to score more than Chicago. So that is interesting to me, very interesting. So I would go through the rest of these, and I would figure out if there's any that have stronger moves. This is 46.54 on Colorado Cincinnati. Doesn't mean a lot to me. Let's see, on Minnesota Milwaukee, 87.13. But as you can see, this is in a reverse line move. There's only been a little bit of line movement, 4.5 to 4.6, and that line movement has gone with the consensus on Minnesota. So not that interesting to me there. So I would go through all those. I would pick out which stack that I want. Let's say I came back to this one here because I think St. Louis's line is moving up against the consensus. So I will go to, I have Syndergaard locked, which you saw I did here by using this lock tool. Then I go to generate multiple lineups. Let's say I want to make 20 lineups. And I like bringing this number down because I think you can be more contrarian by not completely filling out your salary cap on DraftKings. And for NBA, I really, really recommended almost filling all the way to the top of your salary cap. I rarely leave more than 300, 400 tops in NBA. And that's because every dollar is so important. You're really paying for opportunity. In baseball, I don't think it's nearly as important to fill out your cap, and it makes us more contrarian. Always avoid opposing pitcher here. And then eventually I'm going to play with all these filters here. For now, I don't really feel too comfortable as someone that's not too into baseball, but I'm going to play with all of these. Maybe I only want guys in the top 5 of the lineup, and I can use that. But I'll have another video about that later. For now, I'm not using any filters. All right, so 20 lineups. 95% of my cap. Always avoid the opposing pitcher. Now I'm going to choose my team. And I'm going to choose the Cardinals as we discussed. I'm going to stack it to 5. And I'm not going to stack another team. I'm going to let the model kind of mix in its favorite plays from the rest of the lineup. Click Generate Lineups. And it's thinking. And it's giving me my lineups are going to win all the money. Now I have 20 lineups here that are locked with Syndergaard, that are locked with 5 players from the St. Louis Cardinals. One thing I would make sure is that, I do this as late as possible once the lineups are confirmed. Obviously, you don't want players in your lineups that are not in the lineup, so in the real life lineups. So yeah, I like to wait as late as possible, make sure I have all the lineups. And then I click Save Lineups. And we're thinking, we close, we go to My Lineups. And now if I go to DraftKings all day, here are my 20 lineups. And I can see the exposures of everybody that I have. Obviously, I locked Syndergaard, so I have 100% of him. Those are the pitchers that it gave me across my 20 lineups. Here are all the players. Obviously, very Cardinal heavy, as I locked 5 Cardinals. I would click Export, and then when I go to the DraftKings My Lineups page, I can just upload those into my My Lineups page, and then I'll have them. I can mess with them there. I can massage them a little bit there if I'd like to, or I can just put them directly into any contest. So that's just a really simple way to find a stack, to use the multi-lineup generator, to use the model to hopefully give us lineups that can compete, even though we don't follow baseball, or I should say I don't follow baseball very closely yet. So I hope that helps out. Any questions, never hesitate to email me, ajl201@yahoo.com. And as I get more into baseball, we will be doing more of these videos with hopefully a little bit more advanced kind of stuff that we are looking at. So for Jerry, I am Adam. Good luck, everybody.